meeting for stronger communities, and we will do a round of intros. I'm Councillor Rabia Jeeva, and then no particular order, just on what I can see on the screen. Ian, please introduce yourself.
Ian Mulholland, Deputy Democratic Services Manager.
Brilliant. Rachel.
Rach Tanner, Director of Adults and Communities.
Brilliant. Janet.
Janet Pollard, Head of Finance.
Brilliant. Councillor Wilkinson.
Tracy Wilkinson.
You seem to be glitching.
Councillor of Kearsley Ward for Falmouth and Kearsley First.
Okay, do you want to just come again, because you were glitching? Ian, was it glitching for you? Or
it was,
for...
yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I'm having problems with my internet, so my laptop's not working, so I've had to come on my phone. So Tracy Wilkinson, Councillor for Kearsley Ward for Falmouth and Kearsley First.
Brilliant. Councillor Webb?
Hi, Les Webb, Councillor for Bradshaw and Harwood.
Brilliant, thank you. Councillor Grant?
David Grant, Horwich and Blackrod South Ward, representing Horwich and Blackrod First Independence.
Brilliant. Lee?
Lee Fellows, Director of Corporate Resources at Bolton Council.
Thank you. And Councillor Vivers?
Councillor Gary Vivers, Smithills Ward.
Excellent, thank you. And any apologies, Ian?
None, not received any, no.
Okay, that's fine. So we will go to the first item, which is the documentation for noting the monitoring.
That came to follow, I think, a day or so later. Yep. It's for comments and observations and noting. Yep.
Any comments or questions or observations, anybody, before we note the report? Nobody's indicating, so Ian, please can we note that report?
Thank you.
Thank you. And then we'll go straight into the agenda items, everybody. So we've got one agenda item which will be presented by Rachel Tanner. Are you okay to go through that report, please, which was attached and circulated by Ian?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, so we have a report here which is seeking approval to recommission our antisocial behaviour vulnerable victim champion project. The report details kind of the history around the Antisocial Behaviour Act, which has been around for over 10 years now, which placed a greater emphasis on the voice for victims. This has been something that which has been heavily supported by Bolton Council and the Community Safety Partnership for many years now, in terms of putting the voice of our victims at the centre of the work we do. We have had, through the Police Crime Commissioner grants, money associated to this over the years, and for the last 4 years it was delivered by Onward Homes. Onward Homes gave us notice of not wishing to continue the contract earlier this year, and following the ceasing of their service, we've undertaken quite a thorough analysis of the project and worked with Community Safety Partnership to see whether this is still a valued offer for Bolton victims. As you'll see in the consultation section, it's quite strongly put across here about the ongoing need for this. The service supports both an advocacy and advice service through a champion, through a provider, to work with the most vulnerable victims, and that's identified through a risk matrix, which is a kind of a national framework to do so. So we are looking to now expedite this. Really, we have had a gap in service where people have been signposted to the standard victim support services. So we are keen to move this forward at pace now, and so we're seeking to approval today, and the recommendations are for us to go out through the tender process to award up to a contract of up to £40,000 and delegate the authority to the Assistant Director to award that through following the process. Thank you. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you. So anybody questions? Thank you. Councillor Grant.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Rachel, for that. Just to confirm, I think I've seen it just now in the report. We do still have the funding from the Police and Crime Commissioner for this role. Do we have any information on quality of outcomes for the victims? Do we have that data? I see there's like over the period that it did run, like you said, there's been this gap. There was 122 victims supported, I think it says. Do we have any quality of outcomes? Did they engage with us? What was their quality of life after? I mean, I assume antisocial behaviour encompasses quite a wide-ranging number of issues that are on a scale from minor issues to major personal or financial or issues. I'm just wondering if we have that data, because you say it's invaluable, you say it's important, which is great, and if it's providing a good service for that type of one, that's great. But I don't ever recall seeing anything. Now, I've not sat on adult service. I tended to be more towards the children's services side of things. So I'm just wondering if we had any of that data that could be shared for members who might not be privy to it.
Sure. Yes. Thank you. So yes, we do get monthly updates from the provider when they were in contracts, where we would receive the data that would come through, kind of whether any patterns, themes, outcomes, how many people are engaging. So we do have that data, and I'm happy for us to share a summary around afterwards in terms of that. With recommissioning, we would be looking to put some quality indicators in there too, so that we could ensure we're getting a quality service. I think at times it kind of fluctuated and was probably variable. However, the outcomes for victims is still really paramount in terms of ensuring we have that voice for victims in there. But I'm happy to get something circulated if that's okay.
Perfect, thank you.
Brilliant. Rachel, that would be really good. Can we just make sure when we circulate it, Ian, can we make sure all our colleagues and councillors have that information, and if we can agree what frequency, etc., so then we know what to expect, yeah? You're talking
mute.
to me and you're mute.
Sorry. If you send it to me, Rachel, I'll send it to the distribution list for this exec member, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions, observations, comments, please? Okay, so on that basis, unless anybody's trying to get off mute or indicating, we'll go straight to the recommendations, Ian, and I will read out the recommendations due to the purposes of this being recorded. So, approve the recommissioning of the Antisocial Behaviour Victims Champion Project. Delegate the authority to award a contract up to the value of 40,000 per annum to the Assistant Director of Community Safety and Housing. Contract to be entered into for an initial 3-year period, with the option for the council to extend it for up to a further 2 12-month periods. So it's the 3+1+1. The contract will be reviewed annually before confirming the contract extensions. The contract will allow the council to terminate it at any time by giving 6 months' notice in case funding isn't available. Authorise the borough solicitor to carry out all necessary legal formalities. So if we could note them recommendations and we approve the report.
That's fine. Thank you.
Brilliant. So thank you very much. If there's no any comments, questions, we close the meeting down and we can stop recording, Ian. Thank you.
I'll stop that now. Just 1 second. Okay, the recording stopped. Okay.